Hello, I'm Stephanie and I'm Literati Medium. This is my very first Booktube video, and I decided to use the opportunity to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. But first, I'm not actually a medium, so I'm gonna jump right into the questions. And here we go. Question number 1. Why did you start this channel? So I started this channel because I've always loved reading, especially as a kid, but then I got to college and, you have to do all the reading for classes and all of that. And by the time I graduated and was getting started in my career, reading books just kind of fell to the wayside. It wasn't anything that I consciously decided not to do. It just happened. I just have been taking a journey of self-care for myself this year, and one of the things I've decided to do is I want to rediscover my love of reading. I've always been reading something, but sometimes it can take me 1 or 2 years maybe to finish a book. And I definitely wanted to get out of that habit. I want to read more. There are so many good books coming out, and I just want to be able to read and participate. I want you guys to join me on this path of rediscovering my love of reading books. And also, this channel is a little bit of a way to keep myself accountable for reading more books. I have a lot of reader friends in my life, but I want to connect with more people. COVID has taught me community is important, and it doesn't matter if those people are in your life physically or online, that those connections can be just as valuable. So I'm here because I want to make a connection with all of you other readers. Question number 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? So I have kind of an ugly confession to make. Aside from the fact that I haven't been reading much, on Booktube, that's an ugly confession, but I have a very unpopular opinion as well that I have discovered when talking with my fellow book reading friends. My ugly confession is this. Usually when I hear a book has been turned into a movie or TV show, and I have not read that book, I do not read that book until after I have seen the movie or TV show. And I thought that was kind of a unique perspective based on talking with some of my other reader friends, because they're usually people who think, no, you have to read the book first. The book is always better. And I don't necessarily believe that. I see the value in both the book and the adaptation. And a lot of the times I feel like because I wait to read the book, I don't get that feeling of, oh, the book's better, oh, the movie's better. I don't really know. And so one of the things I want to do on this channel is I do want to focus on adaptations and ranking what I like and don't like about the book versus the movie or TV show. And then maybe kind of ranking and seeing, well, which do I actually like better based on those things? And I think it'll be fun, and I hope you guys think so as well. Question number 3. What are you most excited about for this new channel? Like I said, it's connecting with you guys. It's making connections with people and reading more, discovering new stories. I really can't say much more than that. That's my answer for question number 3. Question number 4. Why do you love reading? I love reading because it's how I get to live more adventures. Growing up, I wasn't a very adventurous person. I kind of always took the safe path, and reading was a way for me to experience adventures while still being safe. I've gotten out of that a little bit as an adult. I always ask myself, which would I regret more, doing it or not doing it? But that's just like my personal life philosophy. I love stories. I love that you get to live fantastical lives with these people who have magic powers. As you can tell, fantasy might be my favorite genre. That's why I love reading. It's the stories and the escapism and getting to live 1,000 lives in your own. I maybe have lost track of what number of question this is, but the next question is, what book or series got you into reading? I mean, my dad read to me when I was a little kid, and I think the first books I really remember reading were like the Berenstain Bears, and I loved Clifford books. Those kind of got me into reading on my own, and it's just kind of grown from there. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? One of the channels that got me into booktube was Read with Cindy. I think she's hilarious, and I think she offers a really good voice about diversity and problematic issues in literature. But one of the questions I would ask would be, How do you read so much? My goal for this channel is I want to start maybe reading 2 books a month. If I get more, awesome. If I don't, no big deal. But I want to shoot for an adaptation and I want to shoot for another book every month. And that's going to be my goal. And I think that's kind of an ambitious goal for me, but we'll see what happens. All right, the next question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? For me, it's probably watching myself on camera so I can edit. I don't like doing it. I've done acting and stuff growing up, and anytime I've been on camera, I've always hated watching myself. It's just one of those things that you constantly start tearing it apart and saying, oh, I could have done this better, or I could have done that better. I feel like that is going to be my biggest hurdle with posting these videos. Next question is, when did you start reading? Like I said, my dad used to read to me as a kid. I started reading when you learn to read in school. I was not an early reader. I actually have mild dyslexia, so that doesn't kill my joy of reading, but it does take me longer, and it just didn't necessarily come natural to me as a kid. Yeah, I started reading in school when you normally start reading. Next question, where do you read? Anywhere and everywhere. The book I'm reading now, I do tend to sit on my apartment living room sofa. There's a corner there. My sofa is really big and I can just kind of curl up on it in the corner, have the book out on the arm and just kind of read over it. And I really like that. I also have a wingback chair that I love to sit in. I'll read in bed right before I go to sleep. I also have been trying to take books with me, so if I know I'm going to be waiting somewhere, that I can pull it out and read a few pages while I'm waiting. I think my first choice right now is my apartment sofa. Second to last question, we're almost done, guys. So the next question is, what kind of books do you like to read? I've covered this a little bit earlier. I really enjoy fantasy. I do tend to gravitate towards young adult because, as I've mentioned with my dyslexia, it's a little bit easier for me to read. That doesn't mean that I shy away from adult fantasy though. It just takes me longer. So when I tend to want to go for an easy read, I'll go for young adult fantasy. I also like romance. I've read a few memoirs. They're not my favorite. Nonfiction is not my favorite, but I am trying to broaden my horizons by reading more thrillers and more things that don't just fall in my comfort zone. So hopefully you guys will be able to suggest some great books for me to read. Last question. You've stuck with me all this time. Thank you so much. What does your book collection look like? Well, you can actually see it behind me. This is my bookshelf. As a note, this is probably going to be the last time you see my bookshelf or this camera angle. This position in my apartment is not a great place to film comfortably, but I did want to make sure that for my Booktube Newbie tag that you guys were seeing my bookshelf. The other reason is I might not even be filming in my apartment at all. I don't know what the audio sounds like. I won't know that until I start editing, but I live on a really, really busy street and I live right off the busy street in my apartment building. So there is a lot of road traffic. So I have no idea if that's going to show up on this video or not. If it doesn't, then you'll probably see me filming more in my apartment. But if it does, you might end up seeing me at my sister's house, which is in a quiet neighborhood, so that, you know, I can film with better sound quality for you guys. But yeah, this is my bookshelf. You can't see the top shelf here, but these first 3 shelves have all books, mostly fantasy, surprise, surprise, that I picked up at a library sale or just kind of over the years. I also have 2 boxes of books boxed up in my parents' attic that I just don't have room to put out right now. And what's unique about these books though is these are all books that I have not read. I don't tend to keep books much anymore. I lived in South Korea for 2 years, and when I was getting ready to live abroad, I got rid of a lot of my books that weren't like my favorite books that I was just holding on to because I loved having books. And even now when I buy a book, I tend to buy the Kindle version just because of space constraints. It's not that I don't love reading physical books. I love reading physical books. It's just space and being practical about space. But over my booktube channel, hopefully we'll be wheedling these shelves down a bit. So that's my bookshelf. All right, well, I'll just wrap up this video by saying thank you for watching. First, if you made it to this point, thank you for watching me ramble on. I feel a little ridiculous doing this, but it also feels surprisingly natural. And I'm really excited to get to talk to you guys more about books. Next video, I plan on doing my TBR, what I'm going to read over the month of June, and you'll get to see what adaptation I will be comparing for next month. I don't think you'll be really surprised if you think about what's popular right now, but hopefully you're here for the ride and I get to see you guys next time. So thank you, and let's see what stories tomorrow brings.